Hello, hello! I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. With mile 22, the finish line cannot come soon enough, but it is not here yet. There isn't the sense of progression that you get when passing the 10K marker, the 10-mile marker, the 13.1 halfway point, or the 20-mile marker. Mentally, you may be stuck in your own swampy middle. Left in your head, the minutes drag on like you are forced to march from Rivendell to Mount Doom. Even one person cheering along the sideline can boost you out of those slumps and help push you through to the finish line. So today, I'm going to discuss how to overcome writing about boring, or those sections you are not interested in. What makes a scene boring? The characters may be traveling between locations without anything relevant occurring, like they're stuck in their own filler episode. Or they may be agonizing over a static crime scene, searching for clues. For the former, you need to set up the characters' upcoming emotional peaks without overshadowing them. This limits any sense of progression while the characters are in transit. For the crime scene, large numbers of details need to be included so that the readers can piece together the whodunit without being explicitly told, this right here is the murder weapon. Oh, and by the way, it was the butler who did it. Personally, I struggle to integrate background settings smoothly within the story or build up believable romance side plots. These tend to feel like band-aids as I write them rather than the vivid scenes meant to evoke hope, wonder, gloom, or fear. These are my 7 ways to write about boring without being boring. Number 1, the key is to make yourself care. I realize I can't just say care about these sections and that will magically flip a switch. One solution is to write characters you want to learn more about to give meaning to otherwise droll situations. This is a rare free pass within your story to subtly incorporate those pages and pages of backstory for your characters. The big thing to avoid is giving a lush and heartfelt moment to a character who is clearly about to die. That is a weak ploy to garner emotion from readers, and I am not a fan of. That cop with a loving family who was a day away from retirement didn't survive the novel? Maybe create a side character with a backstory that is less cliche. The villain or shady mercenary who has said less than 10 words up to this point suddenly decides to unburden their motivations and future desires. Am I supposed to be surprised that they're the first one to die in the next fight? Those moments feel tacked on when I read and watch them, and I get the sense that writing them was equally as boring. Robin Hobb created some interesting transition scenes within her live ship trilogy. The stories focused on piracy and magical ships which could talk. As exciting as those details sound, there were plenty of chapters where days or weeks passed by between ports and sea battles where nothing of note occurred. Rather than skip these moments, Robin Hobb used them to expand her world by revealing critical information about those living ships or the sailors aboard them as they move from place to place. When the transition chapters can no longer be removed, then you'll know you've succeeded. Building off of making yourself care, number 2, make your characters care. Have the character reflect on how terrified they are about what awaits them at the end of their journey. You could even have them wish the trip takes longer to postpone that ultimate confrontation with their antagonist. Boring segments are gifts to strengthen strained relationships or tear them apart at the seams. Transitions where characters are forced together in close quarters are also perfect for bonding moments. This works best with interesting characters who care about what's happening to them. If they are lackadaisical or don't want to be present in their own story, this comes across negatively to the reader and adds to the slimy muck that is the swampy middle. If the characters are racing towards drama and danger, build in a moment of levity as a counter, with the added bonus of breaking up the boring. Number 3, trim the boring. Why worry about writing swampy middles if you can just remove the excess? As much as I hate to admit it, there were pages within my story that were boring. These became prime candidates to be placed on the chopping block and later removed. If a conversation is dragging, then trim it and build in those emotional cues outside the spoken word. I do hear that actions speak louder than words, so have a character punch a wall when they're angry, or turn their head to the side when confronted with a truth that they don't want to admit. Pages and pages of political descriptions drag on. Even if they are plot relevant, find some way to add those details without creating textbook entries. Show us who the ruling family is and how they behave. For example, how do they treat those they see as equals or those they see as beneath them? Are they benevolent towards everyone, or do they harbor secret grudges? That can reveal much more than telling readers who is related to whom or their coat of arms. Number 4, research the hell out of a topic. Find some nugget of information to hone in on and carry your writing. Let's say your characters are on a year-long interstellar journey. In that case, do a deep research dive on engines and space travel. Don't list components or facts you've learned. Instead, convey your passion by inventing creative solutions to catastrophic failures. Maybe show your characters taking extreme risks by streamlining their engines and ignoring safety restrictions, all so that they can arrive minutes before their enemies and get an edge in battle. When readers are thinking about how ingenious or dangerous a character is acting, they are less likely to realize that all they did was cross a few wires after debating the risks for over a page. Number 5, interrupt long segments. If a character is stuck in their head for too long, then break it up with some dialogue. If the dialogue is consuming the chapter, then add in some inner monologues or self-reflection or descriptions of the setting. Although when the dialogue gets to be that excessive, it's usually reached the point of being inane or saying nothing useful while adding to a large word count. So trim it down. Number 6, give readers what they want. Have you been hinting at relationships? Do readers want certain characters to get shipped together? Sprinkle those breadcrumbs around and get excited how readers will react during those downtime moments within the story. And lastly, number 7, raise the stakes. And I'm a little hungry now too. When characters are given a chance to breathe between sword fights, explosions, and collapsing buildings, they can piece together information to give it context, confront another character about how they acted previously, or discover a world-shattering revelation. Raising the stakes transforms a boring moment into a turn-paging one. Those are my 7 ways to add spice to the bland, or how to march right out of those swampy middles. I am Ben Pick. Thank you for joining me in Running to Write. Do you agree with my strategies? Is everything I said wrong? How do you wade through those swampy middles? Do you skip those boring segments by having your characters jump between action and emotional scenes without getting a chance to breathe? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed my opinions, then go ahead and press those like and subscribe buttons. They are right there off screen. See you next time. Until then, embrace the boring and ramp up the tension.